This video is all about direct proportion. Before we do our direct proportion, we have to have some basic algebra knowledge. And specifically, we have to learn how to solve equations. Whenever someone asks you to solve something, all that means is to find the unknown. So for each of these questions, I want you to find g. So here, g is equal to 5 times 2. That should be pretty straightforward. G is equal to 5 times 2 squared. Pretty straightforward. And g equals 5 times 100. Here, a bit more algebra involved because g is not by itself. So if we're trying to solve for g here, you can ask yourself this question here and to see what will help. Okay, so for example, I'm doing 4 times t equals 252. I have to find what t is. Well, I noticed that t is being multiplied by 4. So I think, how do I get rid of multiplying by 4? Well, I'm going to divide by 4. And I'll do the same thing the other side. So I know now, times by 4 and divide by 4, they cancel. So t is equal to 252 divided by 4 is, I'm too tired to do my mental math, 63. And that's your answer. Here, 50 is equal to 4g squared. Now I'm kind of stuck. Should I get rid of the 4 first or the 2 first? Think about what method you could use to figure out which one should you get rid of first. I think your multiple choice will help you. For this one, I know for sure I get rid of the 4. Think about how I found that out. 50 divided by 4 is 12.5. But 4 and divide 4 cancel out, so you're left with g squared. Now the opposite of square is square rooting. So I'm going to square root both sides. So make sure you copy my algebra template, how I work vertically. So 12.5 square root of that is 3.5. Yeah, about 3.5. And square root cancel out, you're left with g. Okay, so first things first, you gotta know how to do some basic solving. Now, let's go into some questions together. I've got 3 worked examples on this page, and on the next page, you have 3 to do by yourself. E is directly proportional to f. When E is 2, f is 8. Find an equation for E in terms of f. Well, part 1, the equation. So I know E is directly proportional to f. And that's how you write that E is directly proportional to f. So we're going to write E is equal to the constant times f. When E is 2, f is 8. So I'll replace E with 2 and k, and then f is 8. And k8 means k times 8. So I think to myself, how do I find k now? Well, k is being multiplied by 8. Let's get rid of multiplying by 8. I'm going to divide 8. Divide 8. 2 divided by 8 is 0.25. Times 8 divide 8, cancel out, you're left with k. So our formula is going to be, we're just going to copy this out, but replace k with our k value we found. So E is equal to, so and all we're going to do is instead of a k, we're going to replace it with 0.25. So 0.25 f. And that is the equation or the formula. And that is part A done. That's what part A is asking you to do, find a formula. All right. Now part B. Find the value of E when f is 30. We're going to go right back to our formula. So once we find our formula, it's going to help us do B and C really easily. So I'll copy out my formula again. E is equal to 0.25 f. Find E when f is 30. I'm going to replace f with 30. So E is equal to 0.25 times 30. So E is equal to 0.25 times 30, which is 7.5. And that's part B done. Let's do part C. Find f when E is 100. I'm going to go right back to my formula. I'm going to copy it out. Find f when E is 100. So I'm going to replace E with 100. 100 equals 0.25 times f. So I have to find f. Well, f's being multiplied by 0.25. I'm going to divide by 0.25. Do the same thing on the other side. 100 divided by 0.25 is 400. Times 0.25 divided 0.25, they cancel out. We're left with f, and f is 400. So once you find your formula for part A, B and C should be pretty straightforward as long as your algebra is good. Let's do this question. A is directly proportional to b squared when A is 50, B is 5. Find a formula. Find a formula is the same as finding an equation. So, when A is 50, B is 5. Five squared is 25. Now how do I find k? Well, k is being multiplied by 25. To get rid of multiplying by 25, I'm going to divide by 25. 50 divided by 25 is 2. Timesing by 25 and dividing by 25 cancel out, so we're left with k. So our formula, so we're going to copy this, but replace k with 2. So A is equal to, instead of k, we'll replace it with 2, 2b squared. And that's our formula. And we'll use our formula for part B and C, I'm sure. Find A when B is 3. So I'll copy out my formula. And find A when B is 3. I'm going to replace B with 3. 2 times 3 squared. All right. 2 times 3 squared is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. A is equal to 18. That's my answer to part B. Part C. Find B when A is 200. I'm going to get my formula again. Replace A with 200. So 200 equals 2b squared. So now I have to get B by itself. Well, I think of a function machine in my head. B is being squared, then times by 2. I'm going to work backwards. So I'm going to get rid of that times by 2 first. To get rid of timesing by 2, I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. 200 divided by 2 is 100. 2 and divide by 2 cancel out. We're left with b squared. B is being squared. How do I get rid of squared? I square root. 100 square root is 10. The square and square root cancel out. We're left with b. And that's our answer. Last one. Square root of 36 is 6. So k times 6. K is being times by 6. To get rid of timesing by 6, I'm going to divide by 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Times 6 divided by 6 cancel out. We're left with k. K is 2. Formula. I'm going to replace my k with 2. So z equals 2. Square root of x. Work value of z when x is 121. I'll get my formula. So that's my answer to part A. So express z in terms of x. That just means the same as the last two part A's. Find a formula, write an equation, express z in terms of x. All that just means find the formula. Copy out my formula. Find z when x is 121. So z equals 221 times square root of 121 is 11. So z equals 22. And then last one, copy out my formula. Find x when z is 18. So I'll replace this z with 18. Alright, I gotta find x. Well, I'll think of my function machine in my head. X is being square rooted, then times by 2. So I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to divide by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 2 and divide 2 cancel out. We're left with square root of x. How do I get rid of that square root? Well, I'm going to square both sides. Square, square. 9 squared is 81. Square root and square cancel out. We're left with x, and that is your answer. All right, have a look at that. Do some self-reflection, and then once you're ready, you can try these questions over here.